Trying to be your friend, man. Trying to be your friend, bro. Help me out. Meet me halfway. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. Well, let me be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Now let me be your friend. Peace and love. And yo, I used to be a thug until I met the prophet. Now I'm all about love, true peace and freedom till I return to Allah. One day we gon' meet him. I'm all about justice. That's the focus of the message. Sometimes Asiatics make me want to get the lessons. I be all up in my passion from all the Moorish passion. All things considered, I start laughing. A grown man with a ponytail, another calling us Neanderthal, and he all pale. I mean, for real, this is what it comes to, my brother. We got nothing better to do than talk down to each other. Yeah, we can get scholarly, but we can get gutter. We are the children of our father, and the rest of our mother has nursed us all. And first of all, we people want a pain trying to murder us all. You need to chill, my brother. Tell the elder the same, cause on the real, my man, I'm really about them things. I can take the feds off and go back in the low. Then return to the state where they used to call me dope. But no, I'm rolling with the prophet of Allah. One love, not war. Standing on that floor, then I'm holding the square. The compass in the axe that might be too deep, but let's not get off track. See, our prophet was an addict. Do you know what that is? An Egyptian adapt is a brother who lived by the universe of science developing the now. We call it Islam, but it's the same, my child. Set at the foot of a master, what raised you up, but right at the bang you up. I still love you, and those that's talking that this ain't Islam. Everything the prophet bought is in the Quran. All that other stuff, prostrate and cover up is just the start. The nearest place to me, the law is the heart. You can dress like Implosion, but you can dress like an herb. While the Moorish World TV unifies the word. You can say what you want about Dr. York, but he gave you different variations of the same thought. You won't appreciate that. You won't appreciate me. Appreciate the holy and divine Drew Ali. People refuse to Europeans thought that the Moors will forget it, but we here, strong, alive and well, resurrected from hell, with a story to tell. So pay attention and listen and consider the fact. You know it's humanly impossible for you to be black. I guess the yellow man is yellow, a Mexican is brown. What? Think for a second, how ridiculous it sounds. We can turn it around, but we must unite. It's okay to disagree, but we don't have to fight. Because if we have to fight, you know how we get. I'm still learning to love, but I'm not there yet. So what you family, and I'm gonna work with you, and let's all work together and do what we gotta do. Cause on the real side, we haven't made no rest since 1929. Since the prophet left the best, we got it yours. We had a president. What? Men marrying men. What? Shooting up a club and don't see his own sin. And those that ain't conscious that took your bucks, moved straight to Hollywood and then they living it up. And y'all picking it up. Steak, cheese, and grinning. But it was your bread helping set it off in the beginning. Be careful what you put in your soul, cause it could blind you. Unfortunately, some people get paid to misguide you. Oh yeah, I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never, and you ain't never, and you ain't never, ever. You ain't never met a boy like this, and you ain't never, ever gonna meet one again. I wanna be your friend. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, peace and love. Peace. You better let me be your friend. You gonna benefit being my friend. Cause I go there. I wanna be your friend. This ain't just talk. I wanna be your friend for real. I don't care about YouTube views. That ain't where I get my bread from. You feel me? Anyway, first and foremost, I rise. We're gonna get straight to it. First and foremost, I rise. I feel like the ODB in that old song. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. I'm gonna turn my phone down real quick. Feel me? Because this is gonna be a beautiful show. This is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful show. Give me 1 second. This is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful show. But look at this. I get my money from here. I get my money from my business, not YouTube. All right, we're gonna set this down. That was a customer of mine, yeah. You know what I mean? That was a customer of mine. Nevertheless, here we go. Check this out. First and foremost, I ride. I got a little stain on my shirt because I had a little snack before I came in. But don't worry about it. It's right by the star and the crescent. See what I'm saying? Right there. Don't worry about it. First and foremost, I rise, giving praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I'm telling you, Allah is amazing. You can call him whatever you want. You can call him whoever you want. You can call her whoever you want, even though we know that God is not a he or she. We gonna say you can call whatever you want, but it's the cause that's causing the rootless roots from where all things have sprung, all things have grown from. You know, haven't been created, but creates everything. Never been made, but makes everything. That's what we talk about. We talk about the law, and I give honor to his noble, illustrious prophet. You ain't got to believe that he's a prophet. Study his lesson, and that will reveal to you what I just said. His noble, illustrious prophet, noble brutality. I give honor. The red, the black, and the green with a key. You remember that? Anyway, honor to the noble Marcus Garvey, who made that statement that echoes every day in my mind. One aim, one destiny, and one God. If we all can get on that page, not how we greet each other, not how we see God, and not how we see society, but one aim, one destiny, and one God. What's the aim? What's the destiny? And God. The causeless cause and rootless root, and you can call it whatever you want after that. Let's just move forward and progress. Now, we're going to get straight into the show. Today, we got my big brother. We got my big brother, and I'm going to say my big brother because he is my big brother. He's been doing this, you know, this radio thing for a long time. He'll be on it a little bit. So and when it comes to doing something like this, he's my big brother. Period, point blank. Do we agree on everything? Probably not. Me and Sharif, brother Sharif, if we chop it up real deep, it's maybe some things we don't agree about. But that's my brother. And that's how we have to roll. Now, what's this show all about? First of all, let's talk about what this show is all about. This show today is about how did this conflict come about? How did this conflict in our community come about? What happened? What happened to make things appear so volatile between so-called Black Power and the Moors? See, that's what we're going to get to. That's what we're going to get to. What happened? When did it really happen that, okay, you strike, I strike. You strike, I strike. When did the strike happen? That's what we want to get to. We want to find out when did the strike happen, because when you get to the origin of something, you have the ability to fix something. But before we go there, let me tell you something about Moorish World TV. Moorish World and Moorish World TV was created out of necessity. I'm going to say it again. Moorish World and Moorish World TV was created out of necessity. I used to, and I tell everybody this, I used to come home and watch Saneter TV all the time. I used to come home and watch Brother Rich all the time. I used to come home, if they didn't have nothing newly posted, I would watch any YouTube channel that I felt that was uplifted or could contribute that could contribute to my growth and development. I watched my brother Baba, and the list goes on. But we all know that my brother Saneter was always the premier channel to watch as it related to consciousness. So I watched them all the time. At some point, it got to a lot of debates would kick off. And we know with the Moors, one of the first debates that we seen on YouTube was the SETI, my brother Sabir, my brother Brooklyn, and they were sitting on that couch. And I remember like it was yesterday. I haven't watched that video in a long time, but I remember like it was yesterday. I was watching this video, and although I'm not the best one to debate Moorish issues, because if you cross the line with me, it might go somewhere that's unnecessary, and then that's just not cool with me. But nevertheless, I sit there, watch it, and I watched it and I was fuming. I mean, I was fuming. Right then and there, I never forget it. Right then and there, I was like, man, we got to do something. If I was up there, I would have said this. If I was up there, I would have said that. Man, hold up. Man, why are you being so calm? Man, he's disrespect. I was going, and I was talking to the TV like them sisters that watch them soap operas things. That's how I felt. I was going in. Anyway, that thing passed over. Then I see my brother SETI go do a live stream. He do not a live stream, he do a presentation on the Moors, which is fine. But the way he did this presentation, man, he was bopping, bipping. He was swinging everything in the kitchen at the Moors. I'm talking about the sink, the faucet, and every little toothpick. He was throwing it at the Moors. Man, if y'all remember this presentation, he was digging up some stuff. Shout out to SETI. He was going in. Again, man, when is a Moor going to step up? What's going on? Every time I turn around, a Moor that would respond. It was a great response, but it wasn't good enough for the animation that SETI brought to the table, you know? So I said to myself, hold up, man. I'm real passionate about this. When is a passionate Moor going to come up and represent this thing? Not saying that the other Moors weren't passionate, but their lane was calm, cool, collective, just like most Moors, you know. My lane is more, I mean, but that's just me. Anyway, so after that, I'm going to fast forward to how the debates begin to happen. And we're going to leave it at that for my brother Sabir to come in. But right there, I knew that I had to create a platform that the Moors would be able to tell their own story. Even if you wanted to say something back to the brother SETI, you really couldn't really get no attention unless you went on the same platform that SETI demonstrated it on. So if you, Islam Moors, give me a minute. You really couldn't demonstrate anything in rebuttal unless you went on that same platform. So I was saying to myself, like, man, we can't fight back going straight to the same platform that set this up in the first place. I gotta do something. Now, I'm going to stop right there, but I'm going to fast forward it to the debates. How it led up, and we'll let my brother Ali Bey and other people chime in, the step-by-step process how we get to this point, because I'm pretty sure Ali Bey is familiar with it because we talked about it. But when it got to the debate, I said, I am going to spring, now this is years and work that I'm working on this idea. I said, I'm going to springboard my first video after the debates. Although I put out a few videos, but I just was testing the ground, testing the waters. After the debate, no, before the debate, I'm sorry, before the debate, people were making those little threats and, you know what I mean, little commentaries, whatever. But after the debate is really when I springboarded into action. And I put the videos up about the debate and about my brother Sharif, whatever. Right after that, the real conflict came when Shaka Atmos, that's not the beginning, I fast forward. Shaka Atmos said, oh, I don't give a damn. I'm going to tell you, the Moors, they some dumb mother. Y'all remember that? I had the what's the name behind me? I pressed play. I said, come on, Shaka. Shaka. He came at the Moors right there. Next thing, Shaka did that. Shaka came back months later with his little Moorish thing. If you check the videos that I posted on Moorish World, every video was a response. Every video was a response to an attack. I have never attacked anybody. Every video, check the video. I even put in the body. Response to Shaka. Last response. I did all of this over and over again. Check the videos. I just want you to know that I am not trying to build a platform off of no HOK or Saneter name. I don't need the money. And listen to what I'm saying. The money is not necessary for me. The time that I spend on YouTube, I can make triple the amount of money with this and these hands right here. Real talk. And anybody know me that's watching this, know me. Real talk. The time that I spend on YouTube preparing videos, setting up for the show, I could be doing something else. However, I love the prophet, I love the movement, and I don't like people misrepresenting it. Because what the prophet stood for, it cannot be told by somebody that don't even understand or know the prophet Noble Drew Ali. You have to live by the laws and lessons as taught by Prophet Noble Drew Ali to understand the benefit thereof. And if you don't know them or live by them or benefited from them, you ain't in a position to speak about it. What you should do is big up the effort and try to learn about it. But no, you want to condemn it because some people may have misrepresented it in your mind. So, in comes the Hawker Bay. We ain't going for it. Now, before I bring my brothers in, I want to say this. This show is not to bash anybody. We're going to state the facts as they are. This show is not to springboard Moorish World TV off of somebody else's name. Again, it's unnecessary. The conflict is unnecessary. Now, I'm going to look at a few comments real quick, before I call my brothers in. Somebody, Sam Wisdom, say, how do you know if they was talking to you, if they say it was different Moors? This is my problem. Even if they wasn't talking to me directly, they made a blanket statement. They made a Moors are some dumb, that's a blanket statement. If you want to say Moors are some dumb MFers, pick the Moor that made you say that statement. Talk to him directly. A blanket statement is cowardly to me. If I have a problem with somebody, I direct them. I don't say the RBG community is a bunch of, for what? The Black Power Blue community is a bunch of, for what? You know what I'm going to say? Brother, man, you done lost your mind. Stop wearing makeup. I don't want my son to learn from somebody wearing makeup. I'm going to say, man, look, man, stop wearing that Black Panther button on your shirt and trying to sell liquor. Trying to sell a girl, white girl. Take the button off. See, I'm not lying. I'm not slandering. I'm stating facts. And I'm not making a blanket statement saying Black Power brothers are selling liquor downtown at the comedy show. Black Power brothers are selling crack, coke, or whatever at the comedy show. I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm saying this. And they say, well, he came at you with information. Stop telling me how to do warfare first. You shouldn't have came at me at all because you got nothing to do with nothing. But what I'm saying is, before you can educate anybody, get your character in order. Get your character in order. Would you send your child to a school, and some of us do and don't know who are teaching us, but not mine. I know every teacher that talked to my son. Nevertheless, my sons, do you send your child to a school where somebody is intoxicated? Huh? And then if you point out the intoxication in that person, is that slander? No. That's the facts. That's the facts. Okay, it ruins your name a little bit. Stop selling alcohol and tickets. Stop approaching people smelling like liquor. Stop approaching ciphers. Stop approaching ciphers smelling like liquor, trying to teach. Tell your little squad that it just don't look good smoking weed while you're trying to teach and build. It just don't look good. Now, and if I point that out, am I wrong? Tell you what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Brother gonna try to make the statement. That's right, I'm going in, because I'm telling the truth. Brother gonna make the statement, say, that video was old. That video was old. Brother, last time I was up New York and you see me on that video, the brother smelled like liquor, and the two brothers that he put on the camera was rolling weed outside the film, outside of the position of the camera. I don't care if you get upset. I don't care who get upset. If they get upset, they don't like the truth. That's their problem. So I put it out because the character is flawed, and you can't teach our people with flawed character. If you want to do that, go ahead and be Mr. Wendell and do it somewhere else. Real talk. Now, if you find something about my character, point it out. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to cry. I'm going to fix it and say, yeah, that was me. You know what I mean? Bam, I'm my bad. I'm working on that. All of us got problems. I'm working on that because that's just not a good look. I'm not going to justify it. But with that being said, we've been on for a minute, man. Let my brother come in the chat, Brother Ali, and I'll talk a little bit more. Before I let my brother come in the chat, I want to say this, man. Share this, man, because we going in today. We going in today. Some of the stuff I just said, I might repeat, but nevertheless, the point of the matter is we are going in today. So, for right now, my brother Ali, come into the chat. Let the people know who you are, my brother.
Islam, this is Ali Bey calling in from Harlem, New York. Islam, bro. Yeah, what's happening?
Islam, my brother. Islam, my brother. Secondly, let my brother Grimy come on in, brother. This gonna be a timely show. So let's get the show on the road and let's get it moving, brother. Grimy, come on in the building. Let brothers know who you are, brothers and sisters. I mean to say, you there, my brother?
He might be away from the computer.
He might have stepped away for a minute. But yeah. Brother Ali Bey, give me your take on some of the things I just said, my brother.
Well, I mean, to any right-thinking person, anybody who has any degree of understanding about what has been going on over the past few years knows that what you're saying is absolutely correct. You know, I remember when you came up to Harlem and you mentioned how the brothers were conducting themselves out there in the street, rolling weed or what have you. Now, you know, look, there's a lot of people, a lot of people that smoke weed. So, you know, that's a whole other issue. However, I do think that weed smoking is not something that children or young people should be exposed to. I do think that that's something that, you know, at the end of the day, once they become adults, particularly since it's illegal in this country, I think that it is something that if they're going to partake in that, they should at least wait till they're adults and to, you know, the responsible adults should wait until they're older to be exposing them to that stuff. Further, I think that if and I'm kind of going off a little bit because I know that there are a lot of our people who smoke weed, and I don't necessarily agree with the fact that marijuana is illegal. I believe that it was criminalized for the purpose of criminalizing our people. So I think that at the end of the day, they're beginning to make moves to legalize it, and I think that our people need to be involved in making sure that it's legal, and or at least no, it's not criminal, so that it doesn't mess up their lives and their family members' lives once they get caught up in the judicial system from being in possession of it or what have you. Be that as it may, in terms of the debates and all of that kind of stuff, man, you're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right. I really don't want to go too far into it because I know you have a guest coming on who's going to speak to it. He, as a matter of fact, he and I spoke about it a few days ago, and he had told me and heard about our show when Saneter came on our show and talked about that the Moors had started this back and forth and so forth. And someone else had told him about it, so he and I spoke about it, and he talked about coming on the show to clear the air, to give the background story as to how this whole thing actually transpired, who was involved, how they were involved, and so forth. You know, so I'm gonna wait until he comes on and gives gives the extent of what actually took place.
Islam. Brother, give me on here. You hear my brother?
Islam.
Brother.
I was having a little technical.
Oh, no problem. Invite yourself into the chat. Let me and let me know what's your take on some of the things I just said. If you heard me, let the people know who you are, where you from, and give me your take on what you just heard, my brother.
Islam. This is Brother Grimmy on Ill. Temple of America. Loves your breakdown. It brings to light, you know, a lot of the things that I say, whereas I'm not you know, local there in that particular, you know, that East Coast, if you will, you know, but being a member of this organization who, you know, the beliefs of you know, what you're saying in there was, you know, I said I said Ali Bey just you say I'm breaking up.
Yeah, it's breaking up.
Hear me?
We can hear you, but it's like going in and out.
Yeah, it's going in and out. Let me say this, brother. See if you can make a little bit of adjustment. Let me say this. This is what it is, right? This is what it is in the true sense. In the true sense, if a brother say I'm banging on somebody, I want to see where the unjust banging lies. Let me say this. I'm not banging on nobody when I'm telling the truth. I'm banging back because I was banged on. But how are you going to tell me that you want to try to settle and have peace? I talked to you one day, 3 days later, a video dropped. 2 days after that, a video dropped. A day after that, another video dropped. A video cussing me out dropped. I don't mind. I can handle it. I can handle it. Don't bother me at all. If this video only be shown 5 times, I don't care. I really don't. Hopefully it'll show more so people can get the information. But the point of the matter is, we're going to get to the bottom who started this division. Like it or not. Like it or not.
And the
if you can get anybody, one moment, my brother, and if you can get anybody to stand up here and tell me that my analysis is off, I'll listen to it. But you got to be detailed and show me how my analysis is off. My analysis is not off. Now, and if you want to move forward, we can move forward. You want to play jokes and play games and bang some more, you can do that too. I don't care. We're going to uplift and teach the people. Ali, come on in, my brother.
No, I was just going to reiterate what you were already saying. Is most definitely division. And I, you know, that's one of the things that I have been harping on for a while, is because to me, the whole platform over there is based on division, and that's not good, because what's happening is they're putting together what they're doing is they're advancing a hypocritical.
Hey, brother, give me one moment.
Yeah. All right.
1 second. Islam, brother, can you hear me? Yep. Islam, can y'all hear the brother?
Yeah, he's low. He can't hit the link to actually join in.
All right, listen, I think we got my brother in the building. I want to see you going to say something. Brother, let me hear you say something. Everybody press one if y'all can hear. Just say Islam, my brother.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Y'all hear good?
Yep, loud. It was pretty loud.
Okay, that's excellent. So right now, I want to bring my brother Sabir Bey into the chat. He's not on the live stream, but he's on the phone. And what I want to do, I want to bring him in the chat real quick. How much time he gonna give us, I'm not sure. We know that he's a busy guy. He's always up to something, doing something in the area of uplifting our people and getting the information out. With that being said, my brother, I know your time is what it is. Brother, come on into the chat, introduce yourself, even though you need no introduction, but nevertheless, introduce yourself and come into the chat and let me ask you a few questions so you can start to build on your own. Let's go, brother.
No, you can ask me the questions, man.
Oh.
I said I was going to do this because my brother Ali Bey called me up to actually, because I don't entertain none of this stuff, but my brother Ali Bey asked me would I come on and do this, and I said yeah, but I'm just flying back to LA, so I said yeah, I'll do like 10 or 15 minutes, man. So whatever you want to ask, man. I mean, it was about this, whatever they keep saying, this debate thing that was going on. So, and I heard my name came up. That's about it.
Okay, so this is what happened, brother. This is what happened. What had happened was we were doing a show, and without provocation, your name came up. Your name came up as relation to what was it that? Let me get it right. Who started this banging? Now, nobody asked the question, but our big brother Saneter came and said, we didn't start it. The Moors started with us.
Right. And I asked him, who started, what Moors started it? And his response was Sabir Bey and Moorish Brooklyn.
And that was the response.
Okay, now let me take y'all back. And again, I have mad respect for Saneter. This is not an attack on Saneter. I've known this brother for probably 18 years. But let me straighten this out real quick for everybody. Anyone who sees, and Saneter has the DVD on his stand. What happened at the time, Saneter was talking about the Moors. This is how everything kicked off, and I hope everybody hear this. And if you go to 125th Street or ask Saneter, the DVD is called The Idiocracy of Sabir Bey Ishmael Bey. That is the name of the DVD. It was not with Moorish Brooklyn Intelligence. That was a sit down. Okay, it had a house. What happened? I was called and paid to respond to Sabir Bey Ishmael Bey because I waited a year before, so the other boards can respond to this. Now, this is before Steady came out. Steady was only in Detroit. I said, well, that has nothing to do with me. Let it ride. Let them respond to it. So no one responded. I say this, and I say this all the time. I was in a studio with KRS-One, Kenny Parker, and Busy B. KRS-One was the one that I should respond to what's going on because it looks like a East Coast, West Coast beef. This is what KRS-One said back then. Saneter called me, paid me. The first video, he knows it. It's called The Idiocracy of Sabir Bey Ishmael Bey. It's 2-disc DVD. 2-disc. Responded to Steady. The second time, what y'all see on YouTube, is the one when he called me again, and I said no. By this time, Van Bada said, don't respond to that. You already did what you had to do. So I said, no, I'm not going to do it. That's when he reached out to the Moorish Brooklyn, when I started teaching Moorish Brooklyn this information. So now Moorish Brooklyn wasn't equipped to deal with that. He nation. If you watch the video very close, you would see basically it was 2 cameras in that room, and it was 3 people coming at him. So I said I would not let that brother go in the room and them get him because he didn't know them. So I said I would sit in that room with them. But if you watch my demeanor and how I was reacting and responding, I stepped there and I was saying asking steady questions because he said he had steady coming into New York. That's how all this kicked off. It wasn't a debate. There was no debate. It was just a disrespect of Noble Drew Ali. Because if you was in a nation at one time, you get your head chopped off talking about Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? So that's how all this stuff really kicked off. So it's not a debate with us and them. People like to have, create entertainment. We don't have to debate. Moors don't have to debate with the truth. The truth is the truth. That's it. That's all we were dealing with. Nationality was the order of the day. That's all it was about. And right. Disrespect of Noble Drew Ali.
So, brother, let me ask you a question. Does it seem now, after all of this time has passed, does it seem like it was designed to cause drama, not so much division, but to cause drama and hype? Because that's all it has done. Because I don't believe that we're divided. I think the fakeness of divided between the so-called RBG or Black Power, that's a myth. That's a myth. We know that. But it's causing drama and hype for promotion for a certain ideal. Do you think that's what it was designed for? Or do you think it was really knowledge seeking?
It's not about knowledge seeking, brother. Because listen, even in hip hop, hype sells. Okay, hype sells. Reality doesn't. It's just like being in Hollywood. Fantasy sells. Reality doesn't. And this is what has happened. So you have to keep that hype going on. If we really, really want to sit down and build, these brothers will go buy books. When we talk about buying books like J.A. Rogers, there's buying books like Ancient Modern Britain, buying certain books that will actually tell you who the Moors are. You see what I'm saying? That's truth seekers. It's not about hype. That's what you do in hip hop. That's what Flavor was doing. That was hype. It's people. You see what I'm saying? If we're not looking for trying to win everybody, but we saying, look, this is what we're going to present to you. There's no doubt what Noble Drew Ali did. It's not a secret, nor it's a belief system what Noble Drew Ali brought us, nor what happened in Philadelphia in 1774. If we've been saying this for years, it's up to the individuals to go seek what we're saying is true, right or wrong.
Exactly.
We're not here for hype.
Right.
We're not here for hype.
Exactly.
Brother Taharka, can I ask Brother Sabir a question?
Absolutely, brother Sabir. My brother, Grimion Zachary Grimion Ill got a question for you. Can you hear him? Say something,
Yes, peace.
Peace. I just want to get a chronological idea as far as the time frame and when it started. So we could have it out in the open. So because I can remember hearing the hype and even myself almost being brought into the hype, if you will. Who made really the first attack? Was it SETI and his YouTube slideshows, or did Moors come at SETI first to upset him to say these things? I'm trying to get a grasp in my mind when the actual first attacks took place and who started them.
Okay, now Moors ain't gonna do that. First of all, it was SETI who did it. SETI kicked it off in Detroit. Those YouTube, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm trying to remember the time frame because I did the documentary on Noble Drew Ali in 2011. So that had to be 9, maybe, probably 2008, 2009, probably around that time frame. I'm not sure. And SETI, he has the DVD. The video's on it. He has the video. But if you look at it, I think it was a year before that with SETI. It was a year before that because he called me up, and that's when we did that one, the Idiocracy of Cyrus SETI. So I don't know exactly what I can tell you was before Noble Drew Ali. So that was
right.
The documentary came out in 2011. So it's probably 2 years, 3 years before that.
So about 2008 and 2009, you say. And let me ask you another question. I guess this would be a subjective question. What made you think? What do you think made Brother SETI start this particular attack against Noble Drew Ali and the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America, when you know, this institution existing since, you know, 1913. No one actually ever had a problem with what we were saying. They probably didn't believe in what we were saying, but nobody really had the vitriol towards our teachings, if you will, up until you say like about 2008 or 9. What do you think sparked it where he needed to attack this institution like that?
But you know what Noble Drew Ali said? It will be a third or fourth generation coming with their eyes open. And what's happening? The Moors information is being pushed out now. So now they're looking at that. But from what I was told, and what still to this day, when people look at Islam or they look at the Moors, look at it as a religious group, or the Moors enslaved Africans, well, that's just a moron because we all the same people. You can say black on black enslaving each other. But when the Moors started coming out more and more, this is what I'm saying and what I've heard in Detroit. You know, because remember, he never left Detroit. You never heard of Steady before that. He was only dealing with the Moors that was inside the Moorish science temples. So most Moors in the temples only really deal with Islamism, and this is not an attack on them. They may say Noble Drew Ali. Some Muslims may disagree with Noble Drew Ali being a prophet. So you may have a guy like Steady or anybody that may be an RBG or 5% saying, well, you know, what is with these cats with these feathers on, or they enslaved us, or they're Muslims enslaved Africans. That's what kicks everything off. That right there.
So basically, he's running with, you know, a lot of these people were running with the narrative that people like Chancellor Williams and John Henry Clark came with the whole anti-Islamic rhetoric, particularly from books like Destruction of a Black Civilization and so forth.
Yep, that's what it is. They don't read no other book. This is why I said they need to read other books. Because if you talk about the Ashantis enslaving Africans, they don't speak about that, right?
Right.
What's the other one? It's a whole lot of African tribes, but they focusing on the Moors for some reason. I don't know. You know, maybe because the truth is coming out.
Right. One of the tribes is the Dahomey tribe.
Well, let's look at it like this. Okay. Now, my brother, Matiel is in the chat. Brother, you got to add on, brother. Let people know who you are, where you from, and add on. I know you got something for my brother Sabir. Let's add on and keep this going. Remember what we talk about. I want everybody to share this. Remember what we're talking about. We're talking about what is the origin of this conflict with so-called Black Power, so-called RBG, and I say so-called because it's not an organized thing, but they are our brothers. So I'm gonna say this. I'm not even gonna put it in quotations. What is the origin of the Black Power as we think as an organized group of brothers or sisters, and the conflict with the Moors? Where did it come from? I'm not trying to belittle or try to say anything indirect or low blow to anybody, but we're just trying to find out where the conflict come from. My brother Matiel, come on in the chat, brother, and address our guest, brother Sabir Bey, brother.
Islam. First, let me rise, giving all praises to Allah and honors to His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and honors to all you brothers here on the chat. You know, I've been just sitting back listening. You know, getting my ears filled up. Well, I mean, I guess the only question I would have for Brother Sabir is a subjective question as well. My question would be, do you think that they came at the Moors because they considered the Moors and looked at the Moors as a soft target because of our disunity and disorganization that they saw?
Boy, I don't know about us being soft, and we're not disunified. They may think that, but we're not disunified. We may have our own personal opinions and beliefs amongst one another, but we're not divided. But my thing was, again, man, it's about hype. Who can we attack? Like, okay, this is a new thing on the scene, and it's about grabbing an audience. You see what I'm saying? It's not about right. It's about our audience. Again, these brothers don't read books. I don't know if y'all saw the video, bro. When I'm gonna share this with you. When y'all saw the video with Brother Taj and I came out on 125th Street.
Yep.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if y'all saw that. Reggie was stuttering. Reggie dropped the book. He had one book with him, and we are breaking down books in our head. And why don't you read this book, that book? But the camera was moved away from me, and more so trying to get Taj on the verge of debating. Taj is too sharp for that. Taj won't debate with you on that. Taj going to stick with the facts. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's not about right and wrong, truth, whatever. It's about an audience. If we're going to teach the people the truth, let's teach the people the truth. But I say, read other books. So it's not about us being soft, because none of us are soft. We all men. I hope.
Right. And see, I never considered that we're soft. I'm saying, was that probably their perspective though, their perception of
That's what I'm saying. That's what they would probably, maybe. But you would probably have to add up, but not, I don't see that. No.
Right. Look at this. This is what I know for a fact. I know this for a fact. I know that when I watch this and I let this all play out in my mind, I'm asking myself, somebody in the chat said, this conversation is corny. Who cares where it started? That's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life.
See, this is the problem. That is the problem, brother. It's corny. What makes something corny? What makes it's like, really, if it's corny, then they're listening to it then.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about themselves then? You follow?
But see, that goes to show.
It's stupid.
And that goes to show about when people talk about the Moors as it relates to our history, and they're not even worried about our history because it's corny. In a microcosm of life and conversation, this conversation is predicated upon the history of our division. How can that be corny? You understand?
Islam, Moore. Let me add to that too with that particular person, with that ignorance, because that's exactly what it is. Wow. And basically, these are the people who rush home from McDonald's, after working on fries to sit down, with some popcorn and get their entertainment on. And that's how I look at it. And a person like that, is a person who want to see the feud keep going so they can have some entertainment. And they are the person that want to see the hate keep going and the vitriol keep going back and forward between certain groups of people. I would class that individual in that class of that. They just want to see this horrible situation continue between these two progressive movements. And Brother Ali Bey and myself, we talked about this. We talked about a lot of this same thing earlier. And I mean, that's basically the bottom line. These people want to see the hate going, and they don't want to sit down to see that. Like Brother Sabir pointed out, the books and the information. They don't want that. They just want to see somebody get clowned. And it's unfortunate that what people call the conscious community since 2008 or 2009 degenerated to this level where a quote unquote so-called conscious thug. There should be no such thing as a conscious thug, because consciousness, or learning about yourself and your history, as Noble Drew Ali said, to know thyself, is the information that you are using to leave that thug life and to live the life of a respectable human being. So I just wanted to comment on that more. So thank you, brother.
Brother Tahaka, let me share this with you real quick.
Come on, my brother.
And I be in a lot of states, brother. Like I said, I just got back from Boston. I deal with RBGs, Panthers, the Nation of Islam. I just left Fred Hampton Jr. We was in LA. We did a radio show for almost like a week. We don't have a problem. They don't have a problem with us. They definitely have a problem with me. I was with Brother Mustafa Farrakhan. They don't have a problem with us. So again, it's only a certain group of people. These brothers, even my man that's in the Panthers, Samir, those brothers don't have a problem with us. Again, because we sit down and talk. Not arguing, debating.
Brother Sabir, as I had a conversation. Matter of fact, I had a conversation today with my big brother Sharif earlier, and we were talking about how that's a fictitious and a myth that we have conflict with so-called Black Power movement. That is a myth. That is a myth beyond myths. This stuff is just hyped up by certain platforms and certain people so it can sell a product. I have RBG, so-called Black Power Brothers, right here in Baltimore. Man, we as good as we ever been, as any other more and more brotherhood. So that is a myth. That is a myth.
Brother, we used to, when I was a member of Temple 21 here in Atlanta, we used to meet on Auburn Avenue. We met in the same building with the Panthers, brother. Dr. Khaled was there, you know, almost on a weekly basis. And we pressed hands and had excellent conversations. And we used to go out there and chat it up with the Panthers. We talked about, you know, our direction. They talked about their direction, and we talked about the directions that we could take together. As a matter of fact, on the 4th of July in that year, it was about it was about the year 2002. I believe Fred Hampton Jr. He might have had just got out, and he had an event here in Atlanta. And the Moors, we went up in there, big flags and everything, brother. We was welcome, man. It was family. So all that nonsense and all that hype and all that stuff is going on, man. We was family, brother. Everything was good. They was happy to see us.
So brother Sabir, real quick, because I don't want you to get away. I don't want you to get away too fast. So basically, let me do a recap real quick. So you saying that before the couch incident, there was an incident before then. Can you elaborate that just a little bit more? Because the first time the public seen it was the couch incident.
No, it wasn't. I'm telling you, if he's on the chat, he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Hey, brother, I just want the people to hear, and then we're going to go towards resolution. But I just want the people. Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. The video was called "The Idiocracy of Sarah Student Steady." It's a 2-disc DVD. I broke the DVD up. I don't even have the DVD no more. So that's how important it was to me. I don't care, you know. So every time someone gave it to me, I broke it up. So that was not the first one. It was The Idiocracy of Sarah Student Steady. I had a fez on my head. That was on the cover. That was the interview. All right, and I'm trying to remember who else was in the room with me, but it was just me getting interviewed. So it was not the couch incident. The couch incident came second when I reneged on that. Okay, I didn't want to do it, but I went with my brother, Moorish Brooklyn, because I knew he was not equipped to deal with that. Right. And I knew it was going to double team or they triple team me, basically, because it was one person on the phone, and Saneter knows this. It was Steady, and it was him. That's how it was set up. If you listen to the video, it was another person on the phone trying to argue, and I'm arguing with the person on the phone and arguing with Steady and arguing with Saneter. That's how it was going down. And Moorish Brooklyn was just sitting there. So it wasn't.
Yes, I remember, brother. I don't remember that, but that seemed like the other show, though. But go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you peep it. So now it was two cameras in that room, and people don't understand it. It was one camera up in the corner, and it was one camera with Saneter. So there were cameras in that room. So the stuff, and anybody know how he operates and what he puts and what he don't want to put. This is like being in the movie business. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with movies. If you are losing an audience, what are you going to do? You're going to create havoc or create debate.
Chaos.
You're losing that audience, and this is what is happening right now. This is why you don't hear about me getting into Eddie up in space. You couldn't pay me enough money to argue with them or anyone else, because I'd rather argue with an attorney or a politician or a police officer. Let's argue with them. So that's what I'm at. So my brother,
so after that first conversation, you saying that the brother reached out to you to pay you for another conversation?
Yep. He's going to pay me to come back because Steady was coming in. And actually, if I wish you could get in contact with Moorish Brooklyn, I don't even know where that brother's at now. But Moorish Brooklyn would tell you exactly what happened also. So I said, no, I don't want anything to do with it, but I didn't want him to go by himself.
Right. And you know the sad thing about that, I would take $500 or whatever it was to pay for some conflict. But I don't remember a video of a now book being passed out to children for back to school. Wow. I don't remember now video where some toothpaste or some food was passed out to the homeless. I don't remember now video where some uplifting acts as it relates to hand and mouth education to a book. I don't remember that. It may exist, but I don't remember that. And to give somebody $500 to participate in conflict that is ultimately going to result in division is insane. And if anybody supports it, they are equally insane. Now, real quick, my brother Sabir, I got my brother Sharif Ishmael Bey. He came into the chat. Let's see if he has something he wants to add or maybe ask you something. Brother Sharif, the floor is yours. Let the people know who you are. Come on to the chat. We got brother Sabir on the phone. Let's go, brother.
Islam, everyone. Can you hear me?
Islam.
Yes, sir. First, I want to rise and give praise to Allah Almighty, eternal and incomprehensible. I want to give honor to His Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honor to the Moorish Science Team of America, all past, present leadership. I want to give honor to my brothers and comrades in arms and Ali's men. I want to give honor to Moorish World and to the host and everybody on the show tonight. Islam, everybody.
Islam.
Yes, sir. I just popped in. I caught the last tail end of peace, Sabir. What's going on, big brother?
Wait, what's going on, family? I'm good.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I caught the last tail end of what Brother Sabir had said, regarding being paid. And all I could say, brother, is I agree 100% with, in principle and just personally, with what you said, Brother Tahaka Bey, about the insanity. And it, and again, it's not a personal slight on anybody, because it's indicative of the ills of society, and it's indicative of the ills amongst our people in particular, where we love that type of thing. It's like the heroin addict that rushes towards the pure dope that he knows is going to kill him, but he rushes towards it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so that to have, so I'll just echo what you said, Brother Tahaka Bey, and that is for anyone, and we're just calling it what it is, for anyone to pay money or to advocate paying money to fuel conflict amongst brothers or sisters is insane. And with that, I say peace.
It's definitely insane. But back to my brother Sabir, because if he have to dip off, I want to make sure that I cover everything. Anybody else want to have anything they want to ask my brother Sabir? Anybody in the chat want to ask my brother Sabir something? Let me know. I'm looking at the chat and I'll read it off to him. Anybody on the panel have anything they want to say to my brother Sabir?
Islam, I got a quick question. Brother Sabir, as far as your knowledge is concerned, can you give us, at least from what you know, after the couch incident, and give us a breakdown of the events that happened up until the first debate with Sarah Suit and Seti and Mr. Alim Bey?
Hold up, I repeat that again. I couldn't hear you.
Basically, what I was asking you, brother man, is can you give us a breakdown of events that transpired after the events on Saneter couch that led up to the debate with Alim Bey and Seti?
Okay, let me tell y'all how, and that was years after. What y'all talking about came years, probably 4 years after, 5 years, maybe longer than that. Because I believe the Alim thing was recently. It's the same scenario. The phone calls came up, the debate came up. Okay, we'll pay to have you debate with Alim. I talked to Alim and I told him how to deal with him. And let me say this for the record. Seti and I are not enemies. Seti and I always talk now. I speak to him, we chat, we bust it up. So if anybody thinks that Seti and I are enemies, we're not enemies. He just was ill informed on a lot of stuff. So now he knows what it is. And we do talk. So if anybody says we're still at each other's throats, no, we're not. We're not. But that's, when all this, he couldn't get those people again, who else can you go out to? He's hungry for money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So let's go to this person and let this person argue and have a debate. And I told Alim how to deal with that. Don't go toe to toe with him. That's like boxing. When I used to box, you don't go toe to toe with somebody. You know what I mean? I told him how to respond to him. You know what I'm saying? But it was a circus then too. All of this stuff was.
It's still a circus, man.
It's still a circus. And this is what I'm trying to get to right here, my brother. This is what I'm really trying to get to. This show is not about to just beat up this one thing about Moors, people need to understand. Most people get Moors confused with other groups or other people that said they are for our people. One thing about Moors, our end goal, whether we agree with each other or not, Our end goal is resolution. Our end goal is the solution. Whether I agree with Brother Sabir, whether I agree with Brother Sharif, whether you agree with me, the end result and my end result is solution and resolution. So that's what we're going to walk towards on this show. But for right now, we're going to deal with the elephant in the room. Just this week, last week while I was in convention, there were 3 videos put up about me. One of them in the front of the video. Matter of fact, my name is on the front of the video. In the front of the video is F you to Hawker Bay.
Wow.
Ali's men, pull your dog back.
Wow.
I don't have time to respond. I'm at convention. See, the Moorish Temple America is predicated on organization and upward mobilization. And that's what I was doing. You see, so I had time to respond to that. I'm good, you know. But now I'm back. Now somebody think my ego is involved. No. Don't apologize to me in private when you didn't cuss me out in private.
That's right.
If you cuss me out in public, for God doggone it, apologize in public. So today, I'm on the phone for a whole hour trying to show and prove that, brother, we good. But you didn't cuss me out in private. You cussed me out in public. Apologize in public. So this thing is going on. So after the day, Sabir, what's going to happen? Boom. It's going to be a tit for tat. This is not going to be a tit for tat for me. But look, my point leading to the question, my brother Sabir, how do we bring peace out of this confusion? And I'm asking you due to the fact that you were there when it all started. Now we here in 2016. How do we bring peace out of this confusion as it relates to YouTube? This is a YouTube gangbang. This ain't no real. This ain't the real deal. This is a YouTube. This is a YouTube battle. It's like a rap battle on YouTube. It ain't for real. You know what I mean? And if you lose the rap battle, then you look bad in your community. If I lose the rap battle, I don't look bad in my community because guess what? My community know what I stand on. They know my principles. But if you look bad, you lose money.
But see, that's the thing. That's why I was getting ready to say that before you said it. I could care less. If you want to win, I'm the type of person to say, okay, you won. That ain't gonna stop my flow. See, I'll give you what you want. If that's what you want, you think I don't. That's why I said I don't respond to everything that's on Facebook or on YouTube. I got a platform. I got a big platform. I don't do that. My platform is not their platform. My platform is beyond theirs. So I don't entertain that. I don't have time for it. So if you want to win, like you said, win. That's not going to affect me. But my thing is about unity. Everywhere I've been in the States, probably 4 or 5 states in 1 week, I'm about unity. I'm sitting with people, okay, from Ethiopians to Somalians to the Nation of Islam to the gods of the earth. I'm building. It's about unity. And that's where I'm at with it. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm about. It's about unity. That's all.
So how do we because you just mentioned that you have the platform of what you have. So maybe you have a more in-depth knowledge of how to overcome this controversy of back and forth. Me, it's not about I'm not going to lose promoters. I'm not going to lose $1. You know what I mean? I'm good. I can go back and forth with you all day. I'm fine. Matter of fact, while I'm sitting here, somebody's going to pay their rent and I'm going to get a percentage of it. I'm good. Whether I get 1 view or not. But now the other side, when I tell the truth, it seems like I'm throwing daggers, which I'm not. I'm just telling the truth. How do we come to a middle ground where we say, okay, listen, I'm done, you done, let's work together, let's move on. Do you even think that's possible, or do you think that...
It's possible to happen. It is, man, but it's not with certain people. You have to let some people go. I'm in the lines of Elijah Muhammad. You don't have to get them a dirty glass of water. You just set a clean one up beside it. That's it. That's all we got to do. Come sit with those that want to sit with us. You see what I'm saying? Because again, the nationality is the order of the day. Let them be. Let these people be, bro. because I'm not getting one gray hair. I'm not going to be stressed. I don't do none of that. It's all love with me. So,
I have to agree with that, man.
Islam. You know my problem. My problem, real quick, my brother Monty. You know my problem. One of my major problems is the disrespect and the blanket disrespect to Moors. My problem, man. You come at me all day, but when you make the blanket statement, like I said earlier, when I make a statement about, say, Sankofa, I say Sankofa. I don't say Black Power movement is this. I don't say Black Power movement smoke weed. I don't know the whole Black Power movement. The whole Black Power movement, they love that drink. I don't know the whole Black Power movement. But I know that boy smelled like that sauce last time we was by each other. I know them two guys that was with him was rolling up. And guess what? I don't believe anything is that wrong with weed. That's just me. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. But I don't think anything is that wrong with it. I don't know. That's just me. I'm telling you, don't alter your mind. Don't alter your mind if you haven't done anything with your time. You need a clear mind. That's just where I'm at. However, I'm saying the facts and what I know. And the problem is this, my brother Sabir, is that when you start to make a blanket statement about Moors, and you make a statement about a holy and divine prophet, that children, ladies, women, young boys, old men, that these people hold dear to their heart, and you make a statement, and you have been making statements all the way up to now. Now you see a platform that can counterbalance. Now you want to apologize. Well, we accept your apology. We accept it. But that don't mean we ain't going to address it. It is what it is. So, Brother Sabir, the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, I agree. I got to agree. Get off there because actually,
hey, Brother Sabir, let me say this. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming through. I hope you can find time in the future to join us again to talk on a more lighter subject, an educational subject that we may uplift and teach our people with one thought. But again, I thank you and I appreciate you, Brother Islam.
Islam, peace and love to the family, man. All right.
Peace
brother,
and love,
peace
my
and
brother.
love.
Peace.
Peace. So people, that was a good 30, 40 minutes. Which was good, Now we're going to go into the second portion of the show. The second portion of the show is about, we're going to move into resolution. Just because somebody say, man, let me tell you something. Just last week, our brother got in the chat. Was it in the chat or? No, it wasn't on the chat. Last week, it was in what was it? It was in a YouTube video, and the word says this. And close your children ear. Give you 2 minutes. A few minutes. Close your children ears. I need to make one statement because I need to keep it real. I need to keep it 100. I want y'all to share this video. I want y'all to get it out and let people know that the Moors are about peace and not destruction. Just because we are about peace, that don't mean we're about being passive. Moors are not passive. We are active. Older Moors, elder Moors. If I step out of line, inbox me. I'll check myself. Because I'm just a little bit hyped and a little bit pumped up, that doesn't mean I'm out of line. Check the record before you step to me. That's it. Now, what I want to say is this. Just last week, in the body of a video, it was said that Moors sucks. No. Ali's men is on the white man's D, quote unquote. Sucking the white man's D, quote unquote.
Who said that? Who said that?
We're gonna leave that alone, my brother, because we don't want to address that. We don't want to address and antagonize that. You understand what I'm saying? That's one day. Following that, let's not address that, Brother Ali Bey, because I just want to make a point. Following that, We get a blanket statement apology. But you don't apologize to the guy, another man, a group of men that's organized and trying to mobilize for the development of our people directly. You tell me, F you to Harker Bay. I never said that to you. You make a blanket statement to apologize to Moors, but you don't make a statement to apologize to a brother that has never, ever came out my mouth like that to you. Never. You don't have to apologize. That's not what I'm seeking. What I'm saying is the insanity of it. You think you say you sorry, and now we don't address it. Brother, you did wrong. We addressing it. Brother Ali Bey, coming to a chat. Let's not get into the content of what I said. I just wanted to make a point that this is insane. That you can say things like that and think it will not be addressed.
The sad part is that these people can't see the degenerate and savage nature of what they're doing. I don't understand how somebody could say stuff like that, claim to be conscious, and not see that they are acting in a degenerate and savage way. That is mind-blowing to me. And on top of that, to even make it even more crazy, is I don't understand where all of the vitriol and all of this venom and anger and hatred is actually coming from. Like when people address Moors in any kind of way from that particular platform over there, it's always with such anger and such fervor and such venom in it. It's like if they could spit in your face, they would. You know, it's like if they could jig you with something, they would. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, and it's like we're dealing with a bunch of crazed, like you say, insane people. And I don't understand what is causing them to be that way. A difference of ideology. I mean, okay, there's a lot of people who don't agree that you don't agree with your mother and father a lot of times. So, but why does it have to be so? And it's potentially dangerous. It's borderline dangerous at this point. And just before you say this, Makti, if you look at what's going on with them and their own platform between the Amun-Ra squad and Seti and the young brother Pharaoh, if you look at what's going on between those two groups of people over hieroglyphs, these people ready to go to war, like that's right. Ready to go to war over hieroglyphs. But go ahead, brother Makti. I just wanted to say that, man.
Well, no, I was just going to try to add a little clarity, because you said that you didn't understand where it all came from, where the anger and all of that came from. It's because they're still hanging on to that original narrative that was put out by Cyrus Seti. And that original narrative, Seti didn't, Seti, he has a certain type of style. He just hit you with point after point after point after point. He don't really have to prove it, because he might show one reference to something, and then he'll keep hitting you with point. And he don't really have to prove it. So when you come back and you can show that it's false, he hit it so hard. He hit it so energetically. He caters to the lower self so hard with all that cursing and that rah-rah type of things. It's the whole WWE mentality. That's what keeps people coming back to WWE. It's that mentality. They know it's fake. These wrestlers are not really beefing with each other. They're going out having a beer after they get through wrestling together. But the way that he addresses the crowd and the way he gets their emotions riled up, now they all have that common enemy, the Moors. They don't want to let the Moors off the hook because they found that common enemy. It was easy to hate us because, we're pointing out the fact that we didn't always call ourselves black. We're pointing out the fact that just because you say white man, the man is now white. That's not the real definition of the word. But if you say white, they're so, entrenched and ingrained with that idea that you're talking about a man when you say white, that is just, it's mind-boggling to them. They automatically throw up defense mechanisms. They go straight to the defense. So, again, they're all leaning on that same narrative, about the Moors and slaves. We done had show after show showing how many different African tribes enslaved people and apologize for it, man. You can show as much facts if you want to, but people if people are not trying to hear it, they're just not trying to hear it. So, you know, I mean, again, I mean, it's hype though. These guys ain't trying to, you know, they ain't trying to come. They knew we were in New York. If they were so rah-rah, they would have came. Most of them didn't even come because first of all,
to your point, nobody has beef.
Right.
Nobody has beef.
It's imaginary.
This is being orchestrated by a platform. See, it's like this. When that bomb hit Nagasaki, the regular people didn't have beef with nobody.
Right.
Us don't have beef with the regular people. It's the platform that is orchestrating this for views, translate to money. That's it. That's it, and that's all. If I see if I seen a brother today that was so-called black power to the bone, right now today in Baltimore, I'm talking about red, black, and green bandana, red, black, and green shirt, kill Whitey, whatever. And he see we with my fez on, he is going to light up in his face and say, peace, brother. And guess what I'm going to say? Peace, brother. He's not going to say, you ain't say black power. You don't like me. He's not going to say that. That is a narrative to sell views. And that's the fact of the matter. I tell you what, I challenge every Moor that when you see somebody in your city that represent black power, and you have your fez on, or you have your garments on, say peace to them and see if they say, you didn't say black power to me, I'm not going to speak to you.
Yeah, that's silly.
See how silly that sound in context? So people are using this narrative to further their vain ambitions or somebody else's.
It's a red herring, brother. That's what it is.
We're not divided. Our community is not divided. We're not divided against brothers who want to roll with black power because we already had that show. If you're really about black power, let me in.
Brother, can I talk? Can I speak to that for a second?
I'm sorry, my brother Shabir, I went. My brother haven't said nothing, and you know we the talkers of the Ali's men, bro. So, brother, go take it away. Take it away.
I just wanted to add to that point because that's a very powerful point. Our brother and Ali's men comrade, brother T. Hopkins Bey, went to the recent Million Man March, right? And they ran into a whole contingency. You know, the Moors was there. There was a lot of Moors there. Shout out to Temple 25. Brother Fuqua Bey brought a team of Moors out there from Detroit, Michigan. But anyway, they ran into a whole mob of RBG brothers and sisters. And as they approached, they said, the RBG brothers said peace, and they greeted each other, and they said, so where y'all from? And Brother T. Hopkins Bey said, Temple number 11. And the RBG dude immediately said, oh, Ali's men. Yeah, we watch y'all. Y'all do great work. I mean, so like that was to your point, brother, man. That's a bunch. You're right. It's illusion sold to to a cultivated audience on YouTube. That's what it is, and it serves a particular personal purpose of someone else. Now, I wanted to speak to another issue as well. And that was this whole disrespect thing. And I'm just going to be very brief about it. You know, here's the fact of the matter. The Moors, since all this has started, have gone through painstaking efforts to not return the very same spirit and energy we get from these other individuals in question. We've gone out of our way to not return that. But the fact of the matter is this: they feel comfortable in doing that for the same reason that an individual feels comfortable in abusing another individual in general, and that is because they don't fear a reprisal, because they know that the Moors have principles. They know that the Moors live by those 5 conduct controlling principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's right. And
Right.
they know that if they were playing another game, the game that we used to be in the street without the prophet, they know that they couldn't even look at you sideways. They know it.
Praise the Lord.
You see what I'm saying? They don't play that game in the street because they know better. You see? With the civilized, there's less of a chance of getting your skull cracked. And that's all I'm gonna say. Peace.
Islam. Praise the Lord. Hey, and this is it in a nutshell. You know what I mean? The thing in a nutshell is that, do you think I really want to waste my time? Let me tell you something about the Moorish Science Temple of America. This Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, whether you agree with it, let me see, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not. One thing about this little pamphlet right here, it's a wealth of energy and a wealth of information in it. I can do a show on this all month long and won't run out of topics. And I can make it just as exciting as the controversy. Trust me on that one. Now, can other people have a doctrine to do that? Matter of fact, there is no doctrine over there. See, this is not for, and I can't say it enough, this is not to build a platform off the back of somebody. That's not my goal. My goal is to tell you, watch what you say, stand down, so I won't have to respond. And now let's transform this platform into a platform that is built upon information to the people. Whether the people agree or not, whether they like it or not, they can actually gain more information. Like when you go to work sometimes, it's some things about your job that you're like, man, what I need to know that for? Remember in school when you did that little assignment and you had to study this and study this? What I got to study that for? What do I need fractions for? Am I ever going to use fractions? Probably so. But in that state of mind, that's what you're thinking. Try that with this. Tune into Moorish World TV. As we're teaching, you might learn something. You might, matter of fact, you might even learn something that can defend your own point. We don't have to debate and argue about being more and being black. We don't have to do that. We have we have way more doctrine than that. With that being said, I want y'all to share this. Tune into Moorish World TV always. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading a nice clip video you don't want to miss. It's going to be a 20-minute video. I don't think you want to miss it. Please subscribe to the channel so you can get the alert. This video tomorrow, I'm not going to let the secret out, but it's a beautiful interview that I had when I went to Chicago. Hey, you don't want to miss it. With that being said, everybody subscribe, you know, and like I want to say this, that we're going to take this show to another level. But you cannot come at the Moors and then decide you want to stand down and think the Moors are not going to respond. We will respond. And don't tell me how to respond. If you want to come talking about our ancestor Jesus, that's fine. Say what you want. But now I have to know, are you even qualified to even talk about the subject? That's just me. Somebody else might want to go at you about the body or the meat of the subject. I want to know if you're even qualified to talk about it in the first place. What's your character like? Because see, the Moorish Science Temple of America, you must be of good moral standards. And then you are entitled to the name of faithful. So with that saying in regular everyday English, if you ain't right, stop trying to tell everybody else to get right. And we all got work to do, but for the most part, you ain't gonna never smell liquor on me. And I say never. You can't say never. I said never. You ain't gonna never smell weed on me. Never. Yes, sir. Come on, brother. I'm sorry. I was rapping. I was rapping. Come on, brother. My uncle had to call me. My uncle had to call me. Come on in, brother.
I just want to say, brother, you know,
I miss the days, you know, back on 125th Street when they were having lectures, man. You know, when you had the Bobby Hemmis and the Phil Valentines, you know, the Taj Tariq, even Taj Tariq Bey and Raz Mariah and all these different people was actually getting up their lecture. Whether you agreed with them or not, they were putting presentations on. They weren't attacking nobody's doctrine. They was giving out information, you know, and again, whether you agree with it or not, it was information. It was something useful that you could either use or you could discard. You know, so those days, you know, seem like those days are gone and have been replaced with nonsense and controversy.
Islam, brother Ali. But you know what? Those are not the same people either. Those people back in the day, they was trying to make something happen towards progression. Nobody is trying to make nothing happen towards progression. They're trying to be entertain each other nowadays. But brother Ali Bey, you have something you want to say, brother?
Nah, I'm actually just listening right now, man. I think everybody's making some really great points, and I hope that the other people are listening from that other platform over there, man, because one of the main things that I was really paying attention to this past week was the fact that that situation appears to be imploding over there. It's so much negative energy. It's so much negative energy, and it's so hate-based that, you know, this is the way I analyze it. These people have such a hatred and a disdain for the so-called white man. Understandably so. I understand where it's coming from and why they feel the way that they do, particularly in light of the recent events that has happened. But they have such a hate and disdain for these white people, and the fact that they don't have the knowledge or they're not equipped to actually do anything about it in terms of a role reversal to take them out of the positions of power and put themselves in positions of power, because they don't know what to do about the police, because they're afraid to actually confront the police, because they're afraid to actually confront the judicial system, like the way we see certain Moors going in and trying with, you know, prosecutors and judges and so forth. As wrong as we may think that they are ideologically, the fact that they have the gall, the nerve to even attempt something like that says a lot in terms of somebody who is looking for what the Black Power people would say. They're looking for freedom, right? They want freedom. These people, good, bad, or what have you, have enough nerve, enough gall to actually confront a cop, to actually confront a prosecutor, to actually stand by themselves without attorneys and try to navigate through the judicial system. It doesn't work right, but the fact that they actually believe in what they're dealing with enough that it gives them the courage, or whatever you want to call it, to actually go in there and try it. The fact of the matter is, these people have so much, these other folks, they have so much pent-up hatred, so much pent-up anger that they can't do anything with, that they wind up turning it on themselves, their own people. So because they can't do anything to the so-called white man with all of that hatred, they turn it on each other. And now, because they can't really seem to make any headway with us, they start turning on. You start to see the situation imploding. So now you got these dudes talking about going to war with each other, SETI and Pharaoh and against the Amin Ra squad. And I mean, it's just crazy. Unless it's an act, I don't think it's an act, because the sister that's on the Amin Ra squad talked about the fact that her son's life was threatened. This is what she said. You know, the brother Pharaoh had a different story. He had a different perspective on it. But the fact of the matter is, they both are at a place where they're talking about hurting each other and stuff. So, as a matter of fact, brother Sharif NL Bey, one of his sisters, Melanin Sutek, made a video speaking on the issue. So this is how out of control this thing is getting. It's getting to the point where at some point, if they don't stop it and start acting like grown men and women, start acting like adults, if they don't stop it, somebody's going to the hospital. Or worse.
Islam, if I could jump in there, Brother Ali Bey. I just wanted to add on what you're saying. Everything you saying is, you know, all wise, right, and exact. But you know, I want to add another dimension to that as well. And you know, I want to add the divine dimension to this thing, you know. And what's going on right now was ordained to happen from a divine perspective, you know, from the first negative curse word uh, that um, issued out of the first detractor of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Excuse me, the first detractor that said the first negative and hateful, curseful thing towards Noble Drew Ali and the MST of A this day, you know, that we sitting on was ordained to happen. And the you know, Brother Ali Bey, what you talked about with Sarah Seti and the young Pharaoh, young gentleman, and Dr. Mayat, and all of these different, you know, people who come from that particular vein of knowledge. It seems like, you know, their particular segment of the conscious community, if you will, is imploding on itself. And you know, I'm inclined to say it's because it's the divine nature of this movement. You could say what you want about Moors being dumb and stupid, and you know, a brother might not be studious enough to address your particular issue and question. But see, what people don't realize is this thing is divine, regardless of how much that brother may know or that sister may know or not know. So what we were seeing was basically you know, divine retribution is what's going on. Many people call it karma, and those people are falling apart at the seams. You know, Saneter is falling apart at the seams. That's why he had to make that horrible video cursing out, you know, our brother Taharka. And I'm gonna speak to that in a second as well, if I have time. But you know, it's the divine nature of this movement. You can't really come at this thing and think this thing won't come back, you know, to you. You know, don't think that Allah or God winketh at thy undertakings. And, you know, just because you think that, you know, God's punishment is delayed, that you got away with something. That's what our teachers teach us. So basically, to me, you know, the divine culmination of their rebuke and they hated the prophet culminated on April 10th, you know, when, you know, basically Allah chose his champion and, you know, they got vanquished and they still upset with that. And, you know, and ever since then, you know, you got the advent of Moorish World. You know, basically, Brother Taharka's rolling and they just falling apart at the seams that they can result. And to show you that they devils is that they can resort to nothing else but filth. You know who Saneter remind me of? He reminds me of Ric Flair, but I got to do it because Brother Mahdi McCoy L brought up wrestling. He reminds me of Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. Now, you know, Ric Flair would tear you up in the ring, beat you down, cheat, gouge your eyes. He got Ole and the Anderson brothers.
Ole Anderson.
Yeah, Ole Anderson and what's the other gentleman? Arn Anderson pulling your ankles and you're falling on the floor, just like what Sabir was saying. They'll double team you and tag you. But oh, almighty God, like when you get that second win and knock his lights out, he begging, oh no, brother, please don't do it to me, don't do it. I mean, man, he remind me of Ric Flair, man. And that's the and that's the kind of thing that they, you know, that they do, man. I really don't understand why people in the conscious community, I'm looking in the chat group, you know, at you know, Saneter's cheerleaders. I can't really see how, you know, any rational, intelligent human beings don't see the nature of the divisiveness of what he's doing. And I'm gonna speak to the other thing about the video he made, you know, while the Moors were in convention. Number one, I want to say Islam to the Moors and peace to the Moorish Science Temple of America, and thank God for successful conventions. You know, and speaking to the video that the brother made, you could see that they sat down in evil, wicked counsel and made that up, because basically what they tried to do, I think they apologized to Temple 13. 21 and 34, and then they made some kind of statement and say, oh, an apology to Ali's men is forthcoming and all. Why they couldn't apologize right then and there? But see, basically what their strategy is to try to separate Taharka Bey from the MST of A and Ali's men. But you know what they really don't understand is this is a brotherhood. If you come at Taharka like that, you coming at all of us. So all of that statement about, you know, calling off your dogs and call Ali's men call off their dog and all of that stuff and make tentative things about we apologize to you and try to isolate Taharka. You can't isolate Taharka Bey because Taharka Bey is part and parcel of us and what we doing. So if you come at him, you basically you know, coming at all of us. So we see the divisiveness. These guys are the masters of division. I seen that. I seen it coming when I listened to it a little bit. I can't stand to listen to all of that stuff. It's just so filthy and disgusting, you know. But the bottom line is that, we see their deceptiveness, and you can't separate, Taharka Bey from the MST of A and all of the brothers and sisters of the MST of A. And with that, I say peace, but we see what you're doing.
Islam, most definitely. And with that, I want to bring my other brother in the room. I'll tell you, one of my favorites as it relates to history, when we're talking about the Moors of antiquity. This brother, to me, has his thumb, finger, whole hand on the pulse of that. With that, I bring my brother Ishmael Bey into the chat. He's on the line now. Islam, my brother, peace.
Islam, peace and blessings to Ali's, man. Peace and blessings to you, brother Taharka Bey. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, brother. You know, I know you've been paying attention. I know you've been hearing what was going on. I'm just going to open the floor and say, brother, just give me your take on where we've been, where we're at, and how can we get to where we're trying to go.
Yes, sir. Always humbled to be in the presence of Ali's men and to always speak to the Moors. I definitely be happy to share the information that I know of. I know that, we were on the ground level around 2007, late 2007, 2008. And there was a problem that the brother said he was having with the doctrine of the Moorish Science Temple and getting clarity, because the only Moors that he was really kind of dealing with were the Moors in his immediate area of Detroit, Michigan. So by the information of that he had family members that was in the Moorish Science Temple. He wanted to get clarity on the doctrine and claiming that the doctrine was anti-African, and wanted to get clarity from temple members or Moors to clarify what's their position on certain parts of the doctrine. So that was really the impetus of what started that realm of it. Now, simultaneously, you had a community that was growing and expanding as far as merging conscious community and media. YouTube was just starting to take off. A lot of people were still growing and evolving into blog talk. So we were all doing shows together. You see Ishmael Bey, Seti, and all of us on these blog talk shows trying to get our feet up. How do we merge this media with this consciousness? And then we started getting into putting it into YouTube form as opposed to VHS form and CDs and things like that. We started to say, how can we start getting this on the internet to reach as many people as possible? So it was a question that Seti was having with the Moorish Science Temple and not getting any information from the Temple Moors. If you notice, in those early years, there were not Temple Moors that were even addressing the issue. It was Moors outside, because the Moors within the temple were not, I don't know if they weren't qualified to address the issue. I know for a fact that there were some Moors which were qualified, because at the Alim Bey debate, it was Brother Sharif Bey and I that attended that. And I know for a fact that Sharif Bey was more than qualified to deal with it on that day. It would have never even been on April 10th. He would have wiped the floor with them on that day. However, knowing that the temples itself were not as organized as they are now, and everyone is going through the fire. What you're finding out right now, brother, is you're looking at the fallout still of April 10th, just as Brother Grimiel just stated. You're looking at the fallout of April 10th. And in doing that, the platform that you created with Moorish World TV is so valuable. It is so valuable because you are lending a voice to the Moors that need to understand, that the public that need to understand that Moors are telling their own story in the most accurate way. No outsider can tell a Moor, this is a real Moor and this is a fake Moor. No outsider is qualified to say that, because they are instantly putting themselves as the enemy to all Moors by even having the audacity to make that statement. So I would say that for Moors to have a platform and to create their own platform and to put a voice behind the importance of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, it is invaluable. All Moors should support this particular platform. That's how important that it is. So with Ali's Men being created and Moors unifying and Moorish World putting a voice behind that story, that narrative that needs to be said. And also from April 10th, the splitting of Amin Ra Squad was necessary, because for Amin Ra Squad African Moorish scholarship to come into fruition, it took them being caught up in their feelings and being exposed as frauds and not being able to withstand.
That's crazy.
Slow down.
That's
so
crazy.
You're telling me after April 10th was the growth into brother, can you just rewind for a minute? I was sitting here trying to share the link, and this is good news, breaking news, and it actually serves the purpose of showing good scholarship and bad scholarship. Because I say that to say, Brother Ishmael Bey, when I got a part of the division, it's the same narrative. I'm at home, came home for lunch to get me some lunch from the hot sun. The phone ring. It's the brother. He got brother. What's the brother name? No, not Larry. That was the first. That was the second sneak attack. He had the brother from Amin Ra Squad on there, brother on the phone, and he heated that one up. You know, he heated that one up. And I'm looking at, when we were in a little curry out in Baltimore, he must was down here doing a lecture or something. We had a little conversation dialogue. He actually took that as if he had suplexed me off the top rope. I can't even talk to my brothers right now without them trying to use that to say that they are scholars. Yet they have nothing to qualify their scholarship, nor have they ever been up against a true scholar. I am not a scholar. I do know more science. I am not a scholar, so don't put me in the category. I can have a conversation. But if you want a scholarly debate with somebody, at least let them know first. And then go ahead. But with that being said, brother, so you saying that April 10th was the splitting of the Amin Ra Squad as it relate to Amin Ra African history. I think you said something to that relation, or Moorish. What were you saying?
What I'm pointing out is that from April 10th, it gave birth to different incarnations in a positive way, is the point that I'm making. I'm saying that Moorish World coming out of this particular event is a positive thing for Moors. So you're able to say, you know what, this phase or chapter of elementary school is closing, and now the Moors have their own media platform, which is a positive thing. The same incarnation happens within even a group like Amin Ra Squad. The scholarship is still airtight. However, once you grow and you expand, you have to move into a realm of eldership, not to be overgrown media gang banging, played out. That's baby stuff. You're supposed to be growing into eldership and being able to apply the wisdom of that which you have obtained. You're able to help other people. You're able to expand outside of your own thoughts and your own beliefs, and being able to embrace other people and then meet them where they are, and everyone move together in a unified force. That's what happened with Amin Ra Squad also. So that's a positive thing. The same way that the media grew and expanded, even groups and other groups. There were other people that broke away to say, you know what, you're still on this level down here. It's now time to take it past let's go to the university. Let's now grow and let's keep on moving. That's what I'm trying to emphasize, brother. I don't waste time on the slander game and all that stuff. That stuff, I'm trying to get a school established. I'm trying to focus on building with Moors that have like values to say, you know what, we as a people are in this condition. Let's see what we can do to move ahead. So, Ali's men is someone that I know is on the ground and doing what's going to be in the best interest of Moors. That's the focus that we all need to be focused upon, not the gang banging and arguing and about to kill each other over some hieroglyphic words. That's a waste of time. That's counterproductive. That's actually agent-like, in my opinion. So, that chapter is closed.
It's not. So quick question. Now, I guess this is a question for the people. Are you going to assemble a group of scholars as you have done in the past, and formulate a coalition that we can maybe get together, work together, tour together, build together? Are you going to do that type of thing with your new?
Yeah. That's a good question, Brother Tarka. Yes, indeed. Actually, I have a nice, tight group of scholars that are already assimilated, as well as I have an elder committee. I have a committee of African elders, and all we do is we give the advice and the guidance in order to help the next generation. But see, we do this behind the scenes. I've never been the kind of person that would be a media whore. I've never been the kind of person who would sit there and be trying to slander the people over and over and beat a topic until it's dead and then dig it up, resurrect it, just to beat it up again over and over and over again. I try to find the avenues of, okay, we've addressed the issue. It's okay to address an issue. Once you've addressed the issue, then you try to find out what the solution is, the same format of what you did for this show tonight. You analyze the situation, and then you try to find out, okay, now how do we find the remedy? What is the solution? Moors are industrious. We're supposed to be busy. So we're not supposed to be busy in destroying our own people. We're supposed to be busy in building a nation for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you before we move on, because my brother just came in the chat room too. What do you see that needs to take place? Not for the Moors. See, one thing you know and I know, that the Moors have always been progressive. No, we not have always been visible in our progression, but nevertheless, we have always been progressive. But now that we have become more visible due to the social media, due to YouTube, whatever, now that we become more visible, we are more susceptible to attacks. So, do you think, this is a question I need to ask you, and I'm going to ask the people in the chat room too. Do you think that we, as Moorish Americans, that have always been visible, but we have been doing the work, do you think that we are the ones that are supposed to stand down from the attacks? And how do you just from your perspective, how do you think that we should address the attacks? Because that's one of the issues, and we'll address that in a minute after you go down and my brother Tunic L come in. What do you think, brother?
Oh, Moors are men. Everything's on the table. Nobody's untouchable.
Praise
it will be addressed.
Praise
it will be addressed.
Praise
so what we ask for is peace. What we work for is peace. But we prepare for war. And that's never going to change. The scimitar is always sword. The sword is always sharp at all times. So that's never going to change. We are at war. And we understand that. We're Moors, but we're men. And we're respectful. We're militant. And we love the prophet and we serve the prophet, and we're going to move out on that. We have our orders. We have our marching orders. But at the same time, we're humble. We just can't take the bait of people who are trying to keep us in a certain cycle. Recognize the cycle. Don't fall. Don't take the bait. And your mission, the mission that you do, having a media platform here, and your character and your spirit is so beautiful. It is so necessary. Don't ever lose that. Don't ever change that. Just understand that you have a nation within the Moorish Science Temple, and you have an entire nation of Moors outside the Moorish Science Temple that are behind you 110%. You're only going to get stronger, and Allah will bless you, brother.
Yeah, brother, I appreciate you, brother. I want to bring my brother Tunica Ill in before it get too late, brother. I don't know if you want to stay on or hang up, brother. I got to get this brother in.
I'm about to hang up. I'm going to defer to my brother. I'm about to hang up, and to Ali's men, to each and every one of y'all and your listening audience. I want to tell you peace and blessings. and I wish nothing but peace upon you. Okay?
Brother. And let me say this
Big
before you
blessings,
go.
brother.
Let me say this before you go. This is definitely a Moorish platform, and brother, you best believe that I'm going to extend my hand to you. I'm just not going to call you on the phone when I got something to talk about, brother. I'm gonna need you to come on here and give us some Moorish history lessons on this platform one day sooner than later.
Brother, can I say something real quick?
Hold on 1 second, my brother. My brother Sharif got something to say, but what did you just say, my brother Ishmael Bey?
No, I said your big brother's always here for you, brother. Anytime you call, I'm always going to be here for you. No problem.
Absolutely. So, brother Sharif, what were you saying?
Ish, peace, bro. What's going on, big bro?
Peace, great king. How you doing, sir?
I'm to the good, man. I just want to say to you and also to the for the benefit of everybody watching and listening, we need to get you on to talk about Fort Negro and talk about the Seminole connection.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's an area I don't know if the listeners know.
Yes, sir.
That's an area of deep expertise that the brother has.
Woo! Praise the Lord.
Anytime.
Praise the Lord. So you know you're going to get that call more sooner than later, brother, because we done talked on the phone too many times. So now you got to get that call so we can bless the people. Period, point blank. All right, brother?
Absolutely, great king. Peace and blessings to all y'all.
Peace and love, peace and love. And with that, I want to bring my brother Tunica Ill in. Let me bring my brother Tunica Ill up to speed. That's my big brother. Let me tell you something about my big brother Tunica. I got to put the camera off of this. That's my big brother. All of my brothers on the panel is my big brother, but every one of them have a special place in my heart. I'm not a punk or a sissy. I'm a Moor, and I love my brothers, and you can accept it or reject it. But every one of them got a special place in my heart. You know what I mean? More than anybody, I talk to probably Ali the most. Y'all would thought it would be Sharif, didn't y'all? I know. Don't worry about it. Anyway, but brother Tunica Ill, when he talked with such power and clarity and force, kind of like my brother Mati, but they're a bit different, but yet so much alike. And this brother is the brother that's dear to my heart, because that was the brother that reached out to me. There wasn't even Sharif. See? You see? It was a collective idea, I would imagine. But nevertheless, it was brother Tunica Ill. And when I arrived in New York, and I told the brother that I was in New York, I forget what it was for the debate. And the brother said, "Where you at? I'm on my way." And when we pressed each other palm, you know, and we embraced each other, it was like, man, this is my brother. It wasn't like one of those, "What's up, my man? We good." And that's the same reception that we should have with one another at all times, because it was warm, it was real, and we chopped it up as if we had just left each other 2 hours ago, or we had left each other 2 years ago, and that nothing has never changed. And with that, I want to bring my brother Tunica Ill in, but I'm going to bring him up to speed. Brother, what we're talking about is that the conflict between the Black Power community and the Moors. Where did it start from? We had brother Sabir Bey here, and brother Sabir said, listen, it started with me. I remember back maybe around 2008 or whatever, I forget the date, but nevertheless, I was approached by Saneter to have a conversation what ultimately turned into a debate with SETI. This conversation was recorded and never was released. I could be off a little bit, but this is the narrative. Boom. They came back, and they had the brother Moore, which was Moorish Brooklyn. I think that's his name. And he called SETI. He paid SETI $500 to sit on the couch and then go back and forth with, he paid Sabir Bey $500 to sit on the couch and go back and forth. Now, this is the narrative of where it all started from. So, brother Tunica Ill seemed like he just left the room. I don't know what happened. Nevertheless, this is the narrative where it all came from. I'm going to get back to Tunica Ill because it seemed like he slept out the room. Tunica Ill left the room. No. Anyway, nevertheless, when he comes back, I'll finish that narrative. But with that, brother Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Brother Sharif. Now, let's get into at least 15 minutes of solution.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I know, and I want all the Moors to know.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're coming for our profit,
Yes, sir.
our movement,
Yes, sir.
our dress as it relates to the fez,
Yes.
the turban,
Yes.
our whatever, I'm
Mhm.
going to be on the front line.
Right.
Period. Now,
Yes, sir.
how do we move towards trying to be diplomatic with those that have not kept their word in the past? Because this is not the first apology that we heard.
Of course not. Of course.
And I want to honor the apology.
Yes, sir.
And I do accept the apology.
Yes, sir.
But it's hard for me to believe the apology.
Yes, sir.
So,
well,
come on, brother.
I'll just say this. I'll say this real, just like simple. You know, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said this: suspect not evil until thou seest it, but when you see it, forget it not. He that has been an enemy cannot be a friend, for man mendeth not his own faults. In other words, especially that last part, usually when the general thing that happens when people fix issues is because they're forced to. They're put in a position where they have no other choice. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to him, as you said already, we accept the apology, you know, but we also, again, we're Moorish scientists, which means we study behavior. We study ourselves, and in studying ourselves, we understand human behavior. If the brother has a pattern of privately apologizing via the phone and then publicly slandering within the 24-hour period numerous times, then you already know what you're dealing with. You know, what I would do is begin to use, matter of fact, I'll just say it this way. If we're all about uplifting ourselves, and let's make it selfish, uplifting ourselves, right? The question has to be asked, how does your hate and disdain for the Moorish movement and all things Moorish benefit or improve your own condition? Do it put money in your pocket? You know, does it put Pampers in the house for the baby? Does it improve your education or the education of your children? Does it clean up the trash in your community? Does it improve your quality of life? If it doesn't do these things, then why engage? It's just wasting time. Now, we already know that somebody does benefit from the hate and from the disdain for the community because it gets some views. You know, that's his bottom line. We get that. But we're appealing to the intelligence of him and to his viewers. And then, you know, if you're sincere about improving the conditions of your people and your community, and like it or not, we are your people, like it or not, then you have to ask yourself, do you really have the time to waste on directing or projecting your own insecurities or your own issues on people that look just like you and people in the same condition as you? We don't do that to anyone else. Moorish Americans don't do that. We're solution oriented. And with that, I'm going to say this. I'll just be real brief. Those of you outside of the Moorish movement that are conscious, that are really conscious and want to see improvement, imagine the amount of people that showed up at the and again, this is for Saneter too. I'll say his name. This is for Saneter. This is something to consider, a positive thing to consider. Imagine the amount of people that came out to the Rosenberg polite debate. Imagine that many people going through. Let's say you make the call, and instead of going to the National Black Theater or the Alhambra and paying $30 a ticket, everybody converges on Taft Projects with $15 instead of $30. And you go door to door and you pay for the groceries of everybody that you can with that money in Taft Projects. And you do it with a piece of information that says House of Consciousness. We meet and organize to discuss means to better the community here in Taft Projects and other places in New York City. Do you understand how powerful an impact that is? And that would take a tenth of the effort that it takes to fuel all the animosity just to get a single day payoff at the Alhambra or the National Black Theater. See, that's called organizing. See, we're an organization, and an organization organizes. And it's only through organizing that you improve the condition of a people. So that, I mean, that's an idea. You know, this is what we do. This is what the Moorish Science Symbol of America does and seeks to do. You know, maybe House of Conscience can do that too. With that, I say peace.
Peace.
Islam, bro, can I say something real quick?
Sure. Come on, brother.
Brother Nasir. Is it Nasir? Who's
yes,
wait a
Nasir.
minute. No. Sheik 7. He's saying that in Charlotte, 2 more people were killed by the police this evening. Just recently. Now I'm looking at posts where people are beginning to make posts about this stuff, man, and an actual alert came across my phone. But it just goes to show you where we are in society. I don't mean to cut Brother Tunica L off, man, but I think it's just so important where we are and the stuff that we're dealing with, and to have to be dealing with these people from that other platform, man. I keep saying these people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it like that, but the division, man, is just really not warranted at this point in time. There's too much stuff that's going on as we speak. Bro, you could go ahead. I just want to put that in there.
Exactly. And the thing is this is why our unity is imperative, because when it comes down to, as we say, to the nitty gritty, when it gets for real, all we got is us. And you're not going to care if I say black power to you or not. I'm not going to care if you call yourself Moor or not. I'm going to care that we can band together and protect our babies and our women. That's going to be what I'm going to care about. But hey, who is Tahaka Bey? With that, Brother Tunica L, we just getting to the portion where we're trying to find some resolution. What is the resolution for those who bang on Moors, as they call it, or those who choose to come at the Moors in a disrespectful way? How do we get past that? Moors have never crossed the line. I have never met a Moor that came back and said, F you. That I've heard it. Now, maybe in private, some things might have came out. But in public, I haven't heard it. But, so how do we get past that to move on, move forward? Because we can't, I'm going to maintenance it. Every time I hear it, I'm going to say something about it. But brother, anyway, brother, how do we move forward so we can find some resolution and help uplift our people and build these communities? Brother to the Gale.
Islam, Mo.
Islam.
Yeah, first I give all praise due to Allah and the highest honors to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali. One way we can get past that more is just simply allowing and respecting the other person's right to be. Just respect everybody's right to be. It's very simple. Now, one thing that's been happening is that I think those brothers have wrongly profiled a prototype of what a Moor is, right? I think they got it twisted because Moors, by and large, was not tuned into House of Consciousness. I mean, because even myself, I didn't become wind of this stuff until a couple of years ago. You know, I'm in my own lane. I have a life, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, I wasn't following that stuff like that. You know, it had no bearance on my life, what I was doing, my lane, whatsoever. I only became aware of it because of the blatant disrespect, you know. At the same time, you claiming Kemet, and we know that Ma'at has a certain code of ethics by which Ma'at is governed. So your own way of demonstrating contradict what you claiming. And that it's that false flagging and false claiming of these ancient civilizations that you're being a cheerleader for that causes a lot of these issues. That being said, you know, this stuff is played, right?
But the point I'm making also is that who the Moorish American Muslim is particular, these guys have no idea because they are not on YouTube. But now it's trickling around the Moorish American diaspora, the level of disrespect that our prophet has been subjected to from those circles. And it's really getting to a dangerous point. So we have this thing on the outside of the community where the police are killing our people wholesale, like it's normal, you know, it's become a procedure. It's coming to bear witness to the fact that they're obviously being trained to kill us. I mean, that's the only conclusion that you can come to because of the variation, the different locations, et cetera, et cetera. So we're dealing with that, but then this from within, where ones who are claiming to be of a higher consciousness are set tripping harder than gangbangers in the streets. Even though a lot of it is more in an entertainment fashion, it has the potential to go to that level, and that's the dangerous level that we're at now. Because again, real Moorish American Muslims, many of whom have come through the penal system, they're becoming aware of this wholesale disrespect of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and they're not happy with it, right? So that being said, it's time for us to get past this foolishness. You know, I know it's entertainment. I know it's a hustle for some, but at the expense of this hustling, there are lives that are going to be at stake. For what, right? What needs to be done is some real coming together at the table, some strategic planning, some action steps, some real concrete methodology of getting things done need to be outlined for the people and then put in implement. And we have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the experience to do that. You know, the Moorish Science Temple of America has been in existence over 100 years. It's not going anywhere. It's older than all your organizations, right? That being said, give it the proper respect it is due. In the course of the history of our sojourn here in America, it holds a very high position in that evolution from slavery to where we are now. And it should be respected as such. I mean, how you claiming higher knowledge of consciousness and you don't have basic respect for one of the greatest leaders that our people have produced from their loins and wombs, right? The level of ingratitude suggests no civilization, not civilization. So for ones, you know, for ones who have the measuring stick and who studied these civilizations, their codes of ethics, their living, etc., we can see the contradiction in ones who claiming that and then demonstrating in the way that they demonstrate. So, you know, this is a divine warning as well as a divine plea to get past that. We're ready to work with other organizations on progressive agendas. You know, all this disrespect of the prophet is played out, it's reached a fever pitch, and the Moorish vanguards and hordes are not happy about it. And we're on a crash course. So I think we all should regroup, reach out to each other. Let's form committees, let's strategic plan on an action step considering the issues that's going on in our communities. And let's start to implement some of that. We have already done a lot of that work. If one's ready to sit down and let's get with it. You know, Ali's men, we're busy, we're contributing to society in various methods, various aspects of society. We have knowledge in quite a few different realms of education, medicine, as my man was talking, brother Grimman Ill, emergency management, et cetera, and the list goes on. So we have a lot to offer the community. We are who we are, but we don't see ourselves as different from our people. So understand that. You know, I'm not revisiting. We've already beat black according to death. We've beat that bed too much. You know, we've expressed how we see that and put it within the context in which Noble Drew Ali meant it. That's a wrap on that. To keep talking about the black power, we trace the origin of black power in America to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So why to keep drumming up these same arguments over and over and over like a dog chasing his tail? It's just totally played out more. Who's serious? You know, Marley said soon we'll find out who the real revolutionaries are, because it's time out for these games. Grown men playing these World Wrestling Federation games with so-called scholarship. It's lame, it's played, and it's real issues out here. And one thing about it, we raise the consciousness of the people and let the truth reign, then new hustles will present themselves. New way of present themselves. Don't be afraid of your old hustles being knocked because the people are being informed. Adapt and find new hustles because they're being created every day in this technological society that we now live in. So, you know, it's no excuses anymore to maintain to that old division that the Europeans found when they came to the continent. It made it such easy pickings because there was already this tribalism and banging different nationalities in Africa that was easily exploited. So it's like, how long do we keep playing out and living out the same lessons from, and we supposed to be historians? The whole point of this, not just to know a lot of facts, but it's to improve upon the past, not make the same mistakes from the past and go forward. Because me, myself, I'm tired of talking about what our ancestors did. If we are they, then we should be producing. You know, all that's played out for me. So if we real about this thing, Ali's, man, we shifting focus soon because it's played out. You know, it's one thing if we was debating and ones had enough courage for truth to say, this brother came with the strongest argument, with the best researchers and the most soundest logic. Let's roll with that. But it's not about that. You know, it's a never-ending story where ones just want to flex their egos with this microwave scholarship, gotten to the points where they're disrespecting men who actually went through the halls of learning and studied for years as archaeologists, historians, and they want to claim that their little armchair scholarship is far superior than men who've actually, and women who've actually gone through the halls of learning to legitimize themselves as scholars. And then I'm also hearing this thing where the suggestion that Moors think they're better than somebody because we walk upright, because our back is straight. You know, it reminds me of that foolishness in the schoolyard where our kids get berated if they're intelligent by saying, oh, you're trying to act white. I hear that same kind of foolishness because we articulate. We're not being, ourselves are being down. Man, get the hell out of that with that foolishness, man. That's niggerism. We have high standards given us by our forefathers and foremothers, and we strive to live in accordance with that. We're not perfected. We are perfecting ourselves. So if we come across confident, articulate in our ideas, that's looked at being European. That's the ignorance that our children are susceptible to and are subjected to. Now we see where it's coming from because these are their parents talking that kind of food.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, we have high standards for ourselves and we strive to live in accordance with high standards. And the things that we haven't perfected ourselves on, we ain't parading it in front of the public. That's our code. That's the code that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left us. So, you know, we don't make any apology for being intellectual, for having studied these various disciplines. We took discipline and applying ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we still can spit slang it with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much foolishness out there that, you know, that's really played out, is run its course. It's heading toward a dangerous end. These cause and effect relationships don't end well. So, you know, we need to put the brakes on all of this, and ones who are really serious reach out to each other particularly Ali's men, we ready again to partner up with progressive organizations that have methodologies and programs for our people, and let's get it in. Otherwise, you know, they can keep it moving with that. You know, it played out. With that, I say peace.
Peace. And I want to add this as we lower this conversation. I want to say this. I want to speak for we, but I'm gonna have to say me at this point. We do not, by any means, think that we should not be a part of debating. I don't think that we should discard that. What I think it should be is controlled environment, as it was with our elder John Henry Clark, as it was with our elder Dr. Ben. There was no disrespect. There was no antics. There was no jabs. It was pure scholarship. I think that those things are very healthy if we can do it in a respectful manner, and let's not make it a circus. With that being said, I want to say this to my brothers, Brooklyn Moors. My brother Brooklyn Moors, they made a challenge to our brothers Canaanland Moors to clarify and stand on everything that the Canaanland Moors said. Now on Facebook, it seems to be getting out of hand with the back and forth, on and off, bang, 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 bang. I'm saying this, Brother Cujo, accept the challenge. My brother Talib Hill and Brooklyn Moors, they put out the challenge. Accept the challenge. Let's do it in a dignified manner and let the people learn something. On Facebook, going back and forth, the people are not learning anything that's going to elevate them. And that's for everybody. I'm saying, let's put it together. Let's say this. I know that Ali's men, I hope Ali's men would, if they were put in the position to finance or support a dignified debate, I will hope that they will contribute. They would have my vote for this debate if it was to happen amongst Moors, a dignified debate. Meaning this, Ali's men, we honor all Moors, Canaanland Moors, and all Moors who subscribe to our prophet, their prophet, Noble Drew Ali. But we have a special place in our heart. I can't be the judge, and Ali's men couldn't be the judge of that debate, because we have a special place in our heart for the Brooklyn Moors, for the April 10th support and Mufti force, the beautiful display that they displayed for Ali's men. I get chills in my body when I think about it and I'm talking about it, because those pictures, those brothers was beautifully standing in support in the defense of their brother and the gospel. Now, why can't we debate peacefully to elevate our people? We don't have to descend to meanness and disrespect. So, Brother Cujo, if you're watching, you don't have to debate the brothers. Find your best scholar. Talib Hill, you may not have to debate the brother, but I know your Grand Sheik, pretty sharp brother, probably wouldn't mind. I don't know. But let's not descend to meanness. And over there at Saneter, brother, everything I do, if you listen to my words, I've never been disrespectful. Because that saying right there, do not descend to meanness. I live by that. I would never cross the line of hatred, slander. The truth is not slander. If I say you're a narcissist, I looked at what outlines or what is the ingredients or definition of a narcissist, and brother, you fit it. That's not a low blow. That's just what I see. Now, if you say F me and I fit that description of what F you mean, I respect it. I'm not going to like it, but if you truly mean that, then okay. If you don't, then publicly apologize like you said it. Now, with that being said, even with the brothers in your camp that you support, even Sankofa, it's not off the table. If you want to debate the Harker Bay, then we can have a debate. I don't care about that. But as I said before, we are not going to intellectualize disrespect, for number one. Number two, it will have to be a format, as we see on college campuses, as we see in presidential debates. We are strong, mighty people. We are dignified people. And we should not descend to ignorance, foolishness, turn into a circus, and act like we're doing something to uplift our people. That's not what we're going to do. So with that, I'm going to ask my brother, starting with Ali, if you have any departing words, and we're going to close this out. My brother Ali, it's on you, brother.
Islam, my departing words are, pay more attention to what's going on in society as opposed to what's happening on YouTube and the fantasy lands of the House of Consciousness and all of these other things. And as Brother Tunica L mentioned, the mythologies and the distant, the long off distant past, things that our ancestors did that no longer have any effect in this society in any case. It doesn't make sense to go to war over hieroglyphs. It doesn't make sense to continue to try to bring things to a level of violence based on whether or not you decide you want to identify as a Moor or as a black person. There's no reason to descend into violence or to degenerate into savage acts of violence, which is what it seems like they're trying to go to. There's too many things that are happening right now. You're being attacked from without your own community. You have people attacking you from without. The police departments, as the brother mentioned, the police departments seem to be geared towards murdering you before even allowing you to have a day in court. A lot of people brought up the fact, and I'm glad a lot of people are bringing this fact up. You had a terrorist in New York, New Jersey area blowing stuff up, get into a shootout with cops, and then get taken in for questioning. Meanwhile, a brother can get his car can stall on the side of the highway and he immediately gets shot to death. A brother can be sitting in his car reading a book and get out with a book in his hand and get shot to death because they want to claim that it was a gun. So we have way more serious issues at hand than to be worrying about some doggone hieroglyphs from thousands and thousands of years ago. That is a dead language. No one uses it to get money. Franca, nobody on the African continent uses it for even simple communication. So what is the point in arguing about these non-relevant things? And they are non-relevant. They're non-factors at this point in time. And again, my bottom line is, let's figure out what we're going to do about changing the legislation that the police officers are standing on when they're killing people and able to then turn around and have it determined to be justifiable homicide because the legislation supports it, because the general police order supports their activity, how they interact with the people in the community. Why don't we focus on the things that matter? That other stuff doesn't matter. All right, so at the end of the day, that's really all I have to say at this point, because I'm really kind of disgusted with the animalistic type of behavior that we're seeing from all of these people, man, in light of everything else that's going on, all the serious things that's going on in this society. I say peace.
Peace. Brother Tunica, you up next, my brother.
Islam. Yes, sir, Mo. I just, want to count my back with my brother Ali Bey said, it's time out for the foolishness. I'm a grown man, brother. I got children, grandchildren. I don't have time to be playing WWF with grown men about some history. You know, that's foolishness, man. It's played out. Call me, yeah, I'm a uppity Moor. You know what I'm saying? As it relates to that, you know, it's foolishness. You know, as my brother's speaking, you know, there are more serious issues. And we as Ali's men are doing real work out here in the community. And we are participating in the affairs of men. And we know how business is done, how organizing is done in the modern 2016. We have something to add to the larger conversation among so, and I implore upon my Moorish brothers as well, start joining these other organizations, Moors. Make the prophet give the prophet a seat at the table in these organizations. Our perspective is needed among the people. We know that most of the people are not going to give up being black. Let it ride. You know, the prophet just intended us to hip our people to that fact. He didn't intend us to beat our people over the head with that fact.
Right.
So keep things in perspective within context, because we have a larger issue. We know that we're bound by family ties, being born here, culture-wise, we're bound. Our people are our people. But we also have the right to self-identify and self-define ourselves. So if we just allow each other to simply be, allow each other to be, then all is well. And with that, I'll say peace.
Peace, my brother Grimmie Hill.
Go to Sharif, brother. Go to Sharif, brother.
My brother. Mati. Come on in, brother. Give us some departing words, brother. What you got for us, brother?
No, I'm gonna defer to Sharif real quick.
Okay, brother Sharif, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Come on, my brother.
I wanted to camel back off something my brother Tunica Ill said, and also what brother Ali Bey said. You know, going back on a lot of the hate and a lot of the animosity directed at us. We all know where a lot of it comes from. The source of it comes from a feeling of helplessness from our own people. You know what I mean? And because of and so we end up turning our own animosity and turning our frustrations inward on each other and on ourselves. And, you know, we've become this, you know, in large part the subject or the recipient of a lot of that. Well, both those brothers mentioned, and that's the helplessness comes from an inability to understand the circumstances you're in and to come up with a valid, workable solution. In the chat, if you're looking in the chat right now, I'm posting an article. Oh wow, it says remove any web addresses. Oh, I can't do it. I see it. Well, I'm gonna later post it. I'm gonna later post the article in the chat. This particular article, the title of it, as a matter of fact, I'll give you the I'll put the title in. Black men may have cause to run from police. Massachusetts High Court says. That's the title of the article. And the court in part wrote this, I'll quote it. Where a suspect is under no obligation to respond to a police officer's inquiry, we are of the view that flight to avoid that contact should be given little, if any, weight as a factor probative of reasonable suspicion. Otherwise, our long-standing jurisprudence establishing the boundary between consensual and obligatory police encounters will be seriously undermined. Such an individual, when approached by the police, might be easily motivated by the desire to avoid the recurring indignity of being racially profiled as by the desire to hide criminal activity. Given this reality for Black males in the city of Boston, a judge should, in appropriate cases, consider the report's findings in weighing flight as a factor in the reasonable suspicion calculus. What this means, people, is that this court found that one of our people running away from an alleged crime scene should not always be determined by police officers as reasonable suspicion. And if it's determined as not reasonable suspicion, then they cannot give chase, and they definitely cannot be judge, jury, and executioner. My point being is that the solution in a lot of these issues is changing policy. You change policy, it's literally changing the matrix. That's what it is. You change policy, you change the matrix, you change how things operate. You determine by changing policy how the policy enforcers do their job. With that, I say peace.
With that, that's excellent, bro. I think we can say that we had a beautiful show. I think this was a beautiful show, a very informative, a very timely show. Yes, some people didn't like it. Okay, you're not supposed to like it. I remember times when I had to take some medicine. Everybody remember that. I had to give him a pit bull a couple pills one time. He bit my hand. But if I want my pit bull to get rid of them worms, I had to put it down his mouth. So sometimes we gotta take this medicine. Now, Ali's man, call your dog back. I'm talking about the pit. Nah, I'm just anyway, nevertheless, man, we had a beautiful show, and we're gonna continue having beautiful shows. What we're gonna do on Sunday, I want y'all to let everybody know. We are going to show. Y'all ready? We are going to show how the Moors are connected to ancient Kemet. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was known as the Egyptian adept student. Y'all don't know what all that means. Y'all gonna know what it means on Sunday. We want y'all to pay attention to this one, because every time we turn around, somebody is trying to separate the Moors from the African continent, and most importantly, the Nile Valley. On Sunday, that ends. So we want you to share this, and we want everybody to pay attention to this Sunday, because we're going to show who the Moors are, who the Moors were, and who the Moors will be. And as we depart, I want to say it one more time. You cannot separate the Moors from Africa, but I want to say it one more time. We are going to show how the Moors are connected to ancient Kemet and Nile Valley civilization. And with that, I say peace, peace and love, Moors. I love y'all. Hopefully by Sunday, we're going to have some new music. We're going to drop some jewels, and we're going to have a good time. Peace and love. Peace to Saneter. Thank you for the work that you do, because without you, I wouldn't be able to respond in this manner, but I still will respond, because there are always going to be some detractors. So we thank you, even though I don't agree with everything you do, but I really honor you from where you came and what you're doing now as it relates to putting out information. I don't have to agree with everything you do, but you have opened up the doors for people, our people, that under other circumstances wouldn't have that opportunity, and you deserve honor for that. But the banging have to stop. And with that, I say peace and love. Hopefully we'll be able to work together soon. I know you're going to call me in 5 minutes, and we'll talk about that too. Peace and love, family. Peace.
Peace, peace.